starts now.
I have a hunch Jeff is on a tropical island somewhere. It is week 2 of this year's Where in the World is Jeff weather series. Here's a hint. Left side driving. Remember that one. Then we will kick off our week of history at the Pioneer Park Historical Complex in Rhinelander with the one, the only, Carrie Bladorn. We'll get to all of that in a bit, but first, here's your top 4 at 4. Gas prices are relatively high right now and could get higher. The national gas price average rose 4.5 cents last week to $2.95. That's about $1 more than this time last year. The website Gas Buddy points to increased COVID-19 recovery as more and more people are driving and using gas. Prices likely will continue to rise this week as a major U.S. pipeline was hit by a cyber attack. The company Colonial Pipeline says it hopes to have service mostly restored by the end of this week. After a month of having to deny injured deer, a Rhinelander Animal Rehab Center can now accept them. Wild Instincts was told in the middle of April they couldn't accept deer because deer were found susceptible to SARS-CoV-2. The Wisconsin DNR asked all rehab centers in the state to pass further biosecurity requirements to allow deer to be cared for. Wild Instincts did just that, and they were approved today. So call Wild Instincts if you see an injured deer or unaccompanied fawn. The rehab center still cannot accept animals in the weasel or feline families. Rhinelander Hometown Pharmacy has 30 doses of the Pfizer COVID vaccine that must be used by the end of the day on Friday. Anyone 16 or older can come in and get their shot. You can schedule an appointment for Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday during the business hours of 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The second dose will be scheduled 3 weeks out. You can stop by or call Rhinelander Hometown Pharmacy to set up your appointment. Again, as of this afternoon, there are 30 doses left. A UP man was aboard a plane from Minneapolis last week, and as it was about to take off, the emergency exit door fell off. Tom Yan from Wakefield, Michigan, was taking a flight to nearby Ironwood from Minneapolis. He was on a small 8-person plane flown by Boutique Airlines. He said the plane was going about 100 miles per hour on the runway, and the door just flew off. His carry-on bag was sucked out of the opening, but he did retrieve it later. Jan and several other passengers on that flight ended up taking a rideshare back to Ironwood, costing them about $400. Meteorologist Andrew Kiefer joins us now. Andrew, another cold, chilly day.
That's right, Dan. Another cold, chilly day. It's been pretty cold for a while here. In fact, our overnight low temperatures for about the past week have been consistently below freezing. Last night we were pretty close with those lows getting down to 31 in Rhinelander, and tonight I think we'll get down to about 26. And that does mean, of course, we do have another freeze warning and frost advisory kind of combo here tonight. So you know the drill by now. You're covering up those plants, giving them a nice insulated layer before sunset, and then opening up those plants into the morning and getting them good to go for the day. And of course, stick up with the latest forecast. I think we'll have another night or two of these advisories or warnings until those overnight lows start to warm on up. Now, looking to the skies, it's been mostly dry today outside of a couple sprinkles. We even had some grapple today. But as we head into the overnight period, we are going to be having more clearing. Now, current temperatures are not too far away from those highs today. Lots of the North Woods was stuck in the mid to upper 40s. Central Wisconsin, we broke into the 50s. Overall, though, still a pretty cool day all around. And now getting into the overnight period, another cold night ahead with those lows getting down to about 26 degrees, and it'll be under mostly clear skies. And we're dealing with that frost and hard freeze yet again tonight. And now looking at your Tuesday, more sunshine back in your forecast. We'll have more sunshine for a while here with all the way until Friday as light high pressure crosses through the area. So expect a pretty mild next couple of days. And now looking at your temperature trend for the rest of the week after Tuesday, we'll be breaking into the 60s. And then for the rest of the forecast period, we're going to be seeing the 60s. So after tomorrow, expect that warm up. And then those overnight lows after Tuesday night into Wednesday should start to stay more above freezing. In fact, a little more seasonable into the mid to upper 30s. That's going to be just kind of the case going on forward. Dan and Jeff will be back with you after the break.
All my hard work has led up to this moment.
Live playoffs. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm not speechless that often. We wish you were.
The Voice live tonight and tomorrow on NBC.
found a woman out here affected by debris. She's asking for you by name.
How do you know my name?
Why was this woman asking for him specifically?
Can you hear me?
Welcome to Patchouli Garden in Park Falls. We love authentic Indonesian patchouli and we specialize in our original custom blends. Everything with the Patchouli Garden name on it we make right here in our store. Visit Patchouli Garden in the store or online.
Nicolay My Way does help me fit college around my life. I don't have to fit my schedule around classes.
I'm able to log on to complete my assignments in my own time.
I wouldn't have been able to come back to college if it hadn't been that opportunity.
It allows you to be able to still work. It's an ideal program for somebody who's trying to build a better quality life for themselves and their family, but you don't have to stop everything in order to do it.
Update your appliances and get 11% off everything right now at Menards. Spruce up your home with appliances with top brands, including Whirlpool, Amana, KitchenAid, Maytag, and Criteria. Check out the largest in-stock selection to take home today at the lowest prices. Upgrade to new energy-efficient appliances and save 11% off all of them. Save big money and get 11% off everything right now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It's Champion Septic's Customer Appreciation Giveaway. Have your septic or holding tank pump between now and November 12th to be entered to win one of 5 big prizes. Drawing November 14th at Cabaret Cove in Rhinelander. Champion Septic, your septic system specialists.
All right, it's week 2 of Where in the World is Jeff Weller? Let's go talk with Jeff right now. Jeff, can you hear me? Can I see you?
Hello, Dan. Yes, I can see you. You can hear me, I think, right?
Yep, I'm just going to scoot over a little bit. Okay, I think we're set now. Now, Jeff, where are you today?
It's not that easy, Dan. First off, I think this is probably the best stop so far out of the years of doing this. I gave you a pretty good hint yesterday, and that hint was this island still uses the British way of driving on the left-hand side. So that's a pretty big hint, right? The second hint I would give you would be across that mountain range right there, which is about 2,000 feet tall, is the deepest part of the Atlantic Ocean. Do you have a guess?
Well, that's really interesting. I didn't know that second fact. But Jeff, I feel like I have a pretty good guess based on your hint. I feel like you wouldn't be able to leave the United States right now. And I looked up all the territories, the states that drive on the left side of the road, part of the United States. Turns out the only one is the U.S. Virgin Islands, so that's my guess.
Dan, you nailed it. Yes, here we are. We are in St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Look at this. Look at this view right now. Isn't that amazing? A bit cloudy out here today, but the weather never really changes here in terms of temperatures, about 84 degrees for a high temperature, usually about 72 for a low. And I picked here for several reasons. First off, it's all part of my series, Where in the World is Jeff? It's a series designed to show you how easily it is to get to places from the Rhinelander County Airport. And all roads kind of lead through Atlanta when you come here, but this place is magical. Now, it's in contrast to last week. Last week was Waikiki Beach. This place, if you really want to get away and not deal with people, and this is the place to go. Look at this, the beach again. You can see the beach? There's hardly anybody on it, right? This is a magical place, our own little cove here, and you're not dealing with lots of tourists. You're not dealing with lots of noise. In fact, last week the noise was, steel drums. This week the noise was, a rooster in the background, this morning waking me up.
Only a chief meteorologist would say they're on vacation and tell me the low and the high of the location they're at, so I appreciate that. And then remind us, what is the actual temperature right now? It looks like there's some people on the beach, even though it's cloudy.
Yeah, it's 85 degrees out here right now, which was a high yesterday as well. And again, the weather doesn't change much. It's typically, 85. The equator is just that way, right? It's not too far away from here. I picked this place for several reasons. One I told you about, but two was 4 years ago, Hurricane Irma came through here, a devastating hurricane, Category 5, made lots of press for Puerto Rico, which is just over that way. But really, St. Thomas and a more extent, St. John's, which is just over that way, were devastated by Hurricane Irma. Over $1 billion in damage. You can still see up in the hills here, you can see those structures, mostly made out of concrete, but they're still recovering from that. But overall, the island has recovered. The infrastructure has improved. The airport's been rebuilt. My resorts here, the Lime Tree Resort, has been completely redone. And I gotta tell you, the folks from Wyndham, they know how to do it. This place is amazing. So if you want to get away and you want to avoid the crowds and you want to avoid the stress of, say, dealing with the tourists in Hawaii, this is a magical place to go. The nightlife is amazing. The snorkeling is amazing. The weather is amazing. And the people are just so darn friendly around here.
That's funny. Jeff, take me back to the beginning of this trip. Tell me about your flight journey to get here.
Yeah, well, here we go. So again, traveling to the islands here, you also had to have a pre-COVID test. So 5 days out from traveling, you had to get a COVID test. I got mine over in Woodruff again. You get the results the next day. You upload that PDF onto a website, a U.S. Virgin Islands website, and then they send you a QR code the next day. If you don't have that QR code and land at the airport over there, they won't let you out of the airport, right? So as long as you have a negative test, answer the questions correctly, you will get a QR code. They let you through. And then I gotta tell you, driving here is a bit interesting. But overall, getting here is very easy. Like I said, all roads kind of lead through Atlanta when you come this way, quickly over in Atlanta on Delta. But you can get here quickly from the Rhinelander Airport, Minneapolis to Atlanta to here, and you can do it in 6 hours or less. And before you know it, you're on the beach here, drinking Mai Tais and limoncellos with me if you wanted to.
Well, one thing I wanted to talk about more is the driving on the left side. Is that a strange adjustment for you? Have you ever done that before?
That was my first. Yeah, that was my first experience with that, and there's literally signs reminding you, "Hey, drive on the left." You know, so but there is traffic. So just like traffic, right? St. Thomas is one of the most populated U.S. Virgin Islands. So as long as you kind of go with the traffic flow, don't be scared. If you get scared, just rent a taxi. A taxi over to the hotel is $25 and you're here.
Okay, I'm sure it's a little discombobulating, at least at the beginning. Well, Jeff, stay right there. We're going to come right back to you. We're going to learn more of what you've been doing on the island. That's just in a few minutes.
At WJFW, our News Watch 12 news team works around the clock to bring you the news that matters most of all to the North Woods. Our team is committed to the community and ensuring that you are as informed as possible. NBC News Watch 12, news from where you live.
Welcome to today's Elite Money Minute with Patrick and Michael Marcel.
Patrick, recently you mentioned that the keys to a successful retirement are saving in each of the 4 buckets. Over the next 4 weeks, we explain more about each of these buckets.
Today, we will talk about pre-tax dollars. Typically, this is money that comes out of your paycheck before Uncle Sam gets his share. Most of you know this as your 401k. The money continues to grow untouched by Uncle Sam until you're 59 and a half. At that point, you can withdraw money out, but for every dollar you take out, Uncle Sam's gonna want his cut.
Next week, we'll discuss the post-tax or Roth bucket. For more information on these 4 buckets, you can call our office at 800-469-2040 or visit the web at retireidea.com.
That's today's Elite Money Minute. For more information on this topic or other retirement ideas and information, visit our website at retireidea.com.
Get your gear throughout the year at 365 Power Sports. See us for all your riding gear. We offer top brands of apparel for all power sports related activities. Helmets, gloves, boots, jackets, snowmobile bibs, and a huge selection of sweatshirts, t-shirts, and hats. 365 Power Sports has a wide selection of OEM and aftermarket parts and accessories. Keep your machine in tip-top shape. And we have a full-service repair shop for all makes and models. Conveniently located on Highway 51 at exit 205 south of Merrill.
Huge auction, Eagle River, Wisconsin, May 15th. Pontoon boat, Mustang convertible, lawn tractor, guns, pool table, tools, antiques, and much more. Contact Brass and St. Louis Auctions for more details.
All right, we are back. Jeff, I want to know what you've been doing, and you mentioned earlier that the nightlife has been good. I feel like you could only know that through experience, so what have you been up to?
Well, I arrived yesterday, and the first part of me, it was a bit nerdy day yesterday. I went to visit the desalination plant where they make their fresh water on the island. I was just curious, so that's what I wanted to do. And then last night, I went, there's all sorts of restaurants on the island, And I gotta tell you, the poke bowls, the fresh tuna, the sushi, all that stuff, it's just like Hawaii, maybe better than Hawaii. It's fantastic. And there is a nightclub scene as well. I did not stay downtown very long, as I had a long day of flying yesterday. And then really here at the resorts and places nearby, there's so much to do. It's snorkeling. So like this beach right here, you can get snorkeling equipment from the hotel right here and snorkel right out front. And there's all sorts of things to see. But more so, you can go to the front desk and they have snorkeling excursions, like 6-hour ones, 10-hour ones. They take you out that way. And you can really kind of do a half day or a full day of snorkeling, which is what these islands are known for. They really are clear Caribbean blue waters you can see forever in. And the big thing I got to do was go see the turtles. The sea turtles are a big thing here. There are lots of people trying to save the turtle habitats. You can go literally to these places offshore and just hang out with the turtles. And they're nesting and they're just doing their thing. But these turtles are sometimes hundreds of years old, and they're like swimming with dolphins. If you've done that before, you know how that feels. It's just neat to kind of be with nature in that moment.
You mentioned earlier about Hurricane Irma that devastated the island. Tell us more about the recovery there.
Yeah, that was back in 2017 in September. You know, one of the strongest hurricanes ever recorded came right through here, actually went right over the island to our north, and it devastated. So the south wind came right through here, knocked out most of these structures. You can still see how the landscape is kind of bare in spots, very kind of dark. That's, is still the trees and brush kind of rebuild in. But they went through a lot, $1 billion in damage here, almost more than that over in St. John's. And, Puerto Rico got a lot of the attention, like I said, but it certainly was devastating. So I wanted to come here and see how long it took to rebuild. And all rebuilt. You can get it through the infrastructure of the airport and two of the resorts, Margaritaville, here at the Lime Tree. All those are open for business, and they're just like nothing ever happened. If you go up into the hills, which I did yesterday, and getting around up there can be a bit of an obstacle course right now because there is still a lot of construction going on, even 4 years after a Category 5 hurricane.
Well, Jeff, I want you to come back on Wednesday and have some history available for us, okay? Can you get to the bottom on the history of the U.S. Virgin Islands?
There's lots of British history, kings and queens owning this island. So I'll tell you all about that when I get back.
Okay, cool. And I want to know why they're on the left side of the road. Okay, so talk about that as well. We got to take a break. Right after the break, we're going to go to the Pioneer Park Historical Complex and learn from Carrie Bladorn on all the different things to see there.
Renee is not an influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker. Just look at the way she's reshaping and reimagining her 4-acre slice of heaven. It's not hard to tell she's the real deal. Renee runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor because out here, you can't fake a job well done. Nothing runs like a Deere.
Stop by Lakeland Lawn and Equipment in Arborvita for special offers taking place for a limited time. Get great deals and service on legendary John Deere equipment.
This is an exciting time for people in central Wisconsin who suffer from hip and knee joint pain.
With this innovative technology, we're able to offer patients a total joint replacement that is positioned to match their individual anatomy.
We can perform with pinpoint accuracy, and we're proud to introduce this technology.
With 3D surgical planning and dynamic joint balancing, getting patients back to the things that they enjoy.
Robotic arm-assisted surgery for joint replacement at Bone & Joint. Call 800-445-6442.
Are you worried about going away to college this fall? What if you could get the same college experience closer to home? From the moment you step onto our campus to begin your bachelor's degree, we'll be there for you, supporting your dreams and saving you money. With NTC's new liberal arts transfer degree, you can start here and go anywhere, including a guaranteed transfer to UW-Madison. North Central Technical College. We're ready when you are.
You know water has come into your basement. At ABT, we'll come right over and conduct a free inspection. We share with you how the water is getting in, why it's getting in, and how to fix the problem. And if you need our help, we'll offer you a free estimate. Know that our work has long-term warranties. Visit callabt.com. Know that we'll even delay payments and hold off all interest until next year. It's our way of saying things. Go to callabt.com.
Welcome back to Up North at 4. You know this guy. He's famous. Kerry Bladon from the Pioneer Park Historical Complex. Kerry, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. The sun is shining in the beautiful North Woods of Wisconsin.
How was your
can't beat
vacation?
it. Vacation was excellent. We traveled out west, Arizona, New Mexico, and every time you leave the North Woods, you come back with a newfound appreciation for everything that we have here. So it's good to be home.
And I feel like this is a good place to get that sense of appreciation. Hi, Cedric. How are you doing?
Here, come on up.
So let's talk about the Pioneer Park Historical Complex. This is going to be over the next 5 days. We're going to start today, Monday, on the main building right here. Tell us about the main building.
So this is the Logging Museum, the famous Logging Museum, and it was founded in 1932, and this will be its 89th season in operation this year. It is boasted to be the longest running and operating logging museum of its kind in the world.
This is the first building that people will see when they come to the museum. Tell me about that kind of first experience that people see as they go to the Pioneer Park Historical Complex.
Since this building is the oldest, most well-known part of Pioneer Park Historical Complex, and it's the first building that they see, as you mentioned, when they come through the main gates, it's really important to myself and to the staff to be good ambassadors and good representatives of Rhinelander, the Rhinelander area, the North Woods at large, and the state of Wisconsin. We get a lot of locals that come in several times throughout the summer to enjoy the museum here, as it's free to visit. But we also get people from all over the country and all over the world. And for some of them, this may be the first experience that they have in Wisconsin. And so to welcome them in and to teach them about our history, it's really, really cool and a really awesome thing we get to do here.
And it simulates a logging camp. We have maybe a dining hall on the right side here. We have a barracks sort of place on the left side here. So tell us about some interesting things. Let's go to the barracks, because I like the barracks room. Tell me some kind of unique aspects of a logging barracks.
So this is a replica bunkhouse, we call it, and it was a style of bunkhouse that was used in the late 1800s. They would go out into the forest in the fall, they would build a building much like this one out in a pine stand, and then they would spend the winter logging a particular area around it. So in this style bunkhouse, we have the bunkhouse on one side and we have the cook shack on the other side. And it's separated by this open air area here called the dingle. And they would use that to store wood or frozen meat, barrels of supplies, that sort of thing. So lumberjacks were only allowed in the cook shack during meal times. No other time were they allowed inside the cook shack. That was really the cook's domain, and they called him the bull cook. And oftentimes it was said that there was a foreman that operated the lumber camp, but it was the bull cook who ran things. You know, everything starts and stops on the stomach, so he was really in charge of a lot of aspects of the lumber camp. And then the men would work in the woods during the day, and then they would spend the nights in the bunkhouse. And they spent relatively little time in there because they worked sun up to past sundown. They would eat lunch out in the woods. You know, they would get up really early for breakfast, go cut trees during the day, primarily during the winter months, and then they would come back, eat supper, and then retire to the bunkhouse where, you know, the tall tales would be told. They would sit on a seat along the bunks called the deacon seat and share stories, and the most elaborative stories kind of won the day. And lumberjacks had a knack for telling the craziest, wildest stories. But the caveat is that you wanted them to sound believable. And the more you could kind of fool your friends and fool the listener into believing what you were saying, the better. And there were some really phenomenal storytellers in these logging camps back then.
And I feel like this is a place to end. Talking about those tall tales, one of the most famous tall tales is the hodag. And you have a couple replica hodags in here. Maybe they're even extracted from the ground. I don't know if they're fossils or if they're replicas, but that's what you offer as well. You have some history of the hodag.
Yeah, so within the Logging Museum here, we are the official hodag museum here at Rhinelander, and we have some of the oldest, most authentic hodags on display anywhere in the known galaxy, I like to say. And we have some specimens that are over 100 years old. We have over a dozen different depictions of the hodag, and that includes models, artwork, souvenirs from years past. So we also have a replica hodag of the original, which was carved in 1951 by a gentleman named Ed Stoltz. And the original hodag was burned in a fire up at a resort near Ballard Lake, near Star Lake, kind of in the Boulder Junction area. So this gentleman, Ed Stoltz, took some photographs of the original Gene Shepherd hodag and then made this replica carving, and it is what we say the closest to the original that you can find here in Rhinelander.
I will say originally it is black. That is a misinterpretation, perhaps, of history. The common day iteration is green, the original is black, but we're not going to get into that right now. We're out of time. Carrie, where are we headed to tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're going to head to the Rural Schoolhouse Museum, which features all kinds of wonderful rural one-room schoolhouse museum artifacts and photographs, and it is an original one-room schoolhouse, so be excited to take you in there tomorrow.
Okay, we'll be there tomorrow. We'll be right back on Up North at 4.